Hello, it's Will here from Go Physio. Today this video is going to show you a resistance band lower limb workout. So all you need is a looped resistant band like so, or one of those long ones, and you can just tie a knot on it to make a loop. These exercises are aimed at runners, but they can also just be for people that want to keep active and keep strong in the lower limb. So they're free to anyone to perform. We're going to work on all the key areas: your ankles, your calves, your quads, your hamstrings and your glutes. So we're all going to cover those areas in this video today. So the first few exercises we're going to show you are going to be targeting the ankle. So we want to place the band around the foot like so, cross the legs and have a nice straight line going downwards. For all these exercises we're going to do about 20 reps, and the reason why we do 20 reps, it increases our endurance. So it enables us to be stronger over a long period of time, whether it's if you're a runner, you want to be strong for a long run, or if you just, your everyday activities, you just want to be strong throughout the whole day. So we're going to let the foot drop and relax it in this position, and all we're going to do is we're going to move it upwards and downwards, upwards and downwards. And as I say, we're going to repeat that 20 times, nice, slow and controlled with all these exercises. And this is going to strengthen the inside of our ankle and also into the shin bone up here. So if you've had history of shin splints, or you just don't want to get shin splints, this is a really good exercise to strengthen the inside of that ankle and the inside of that shin. So it's about 10. Do about 10 more. Doesn't really matter how many reps you do exactly, it just, as long as you're in and around that 20 region, then you're hitting those kind of endurance reps. So anywhere between 20 to 25, that's more than enough reps. Nice, slow and controlled, and when you get to the end of that 20, you really start to feel the burn in and around the ankle area, in and around the foot, and it just means that the muscles are working. Right, once we've done that, we'll switch to the other side. Exactly the same concept. The foot that you're not working fixes the band. We cross our legs and we slowly bring the band up and slowly bring it down. It's really good, this position, because it means the legs can't move and all the movement just comes from the foot only. The leg should not be moving at all. All the movement comes from the foot. Once we get to 20, we'll bring the bang down, and that brings us to our next exercise. So we're going to start to target the outside of the ankles. With this exercise, putting anything in between the legs usually helps, because otherwise we start using our legs. Because we want to just use the foot only in this exercise. So we want some nice tension in the band. I'm going to work on this leg first. Instead of the foot flat on the floor, I'm going to bring it up a little bit, and I'm just going to turn it to the side slightly and back to the starting position. So your foot is almost like a little pivot. Just goes to the outside and back in. Outside, back in. Outside, back in. And this is going to strengthen the outside of the ankle. Really good exercise this for people who've had a previous history of ankle sprains, or just feel like they have weak ankles in general, because it's going to strengthen all those muscles on the outside of the ankle that are going to stop you from turning your ankle when you walk on an even surface. Good. Right, and then we'll move on to the other side. So the thing you really need to remember with this exercise is that you're not moving the leg, and all the movement just comes from the foot. This is why I'm squeezing this together in the middle, just to keep the concentration on the foot, because if I take this out, you've got the tendency to move the leg, and then you're working the leg more than the foot. So make sure that the legs are nice and stable, and all the movement is coming from the foot. So still from the seated position, bring the band up around the top of above the knees. We just want to have a bit of tension on the band. We don't want it to be too slack. So nice stable legs, nice tension on the band. We can cross our arms or we can use the seat, all depend on your ability, and we're just going to do 20 sit to stands with the tension still on the band. And this is going to be really good for our quads. Feet firmly on the floor, popping ourselves up, popping ourselves down. Keeping the tension on the band. This helps engage the glutes as well as maintain proper form. Because if we let the band go, then our knees start falling inwards and we're not doing the exercise effectively. So keep that tension on the band. Get a nice rhythm, doesn't have to be too quick. You can do it at your own pace, but just get those 20 reps in. It won't feel too hard at first, but you do start to feel it when you get towards the end of those reps. Good. So we'll take the band off there. So this next exercise is going to be one for the calves, but to be honest with you, it's going to be the only exercise we don't use the resistance band, because simply enough, the resistance band just doesn't do it for the calves. The calves are really strong. When we walk and when we run, they can take up multiple times body weight. So we can do something a little bit different just for this exercise. So simply just going to raise one foot off the ground, up and down 20 times, but you're going to put over pressure on top of the knee. Okay, so a bit of weight over the top of the knee and slowly raise the foot up and down. So it's providing just a little bit more weight, working on those lower portion of your calves. The trick with this exercise is not to do it too quick, to be nice, slow and controlled, because if we do it quite quick, you're not getting the nice slow tension in your calf and it's not working as hard as it should be. But a nice slow contraction up and down. Sometimes a little tip can be to count 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, just so you can get that nice slow contraction as opposed to doing it too quickly. Once you've done your 20, we'll just move on to the other side. Still getting that overpressure over the top. So some people like to use a backpack with books or just an actual dumbbell over the knee, but if you don't have any of that equipment, just simple overpressure from yourself is more than enough. If you really want to make it a lot harder for yourself, you can just really lean on that leg. And it is really up to you how much pressure you put over the top. Remember to keep it slow and controlled. Like all these exercises, the first few, maybe 5 or 6 might feel easy. Once you get over that 10, get closer to that 20, that's when it should start really taking effect. This exercise brings our seated exercises to a close. Next we're going to use the mat. The next couple of exercises we're going to be laying on our back. For this exercise we want the band around our feet like so, and we're just going to slowly bring our knee to our chest like so. So this leg works as the fix, whilst we bring the other knee to chest, working on our hip flexors. And this exercise is really good for runners because we continue to bring our knee to our chest when we run. So it's going to get them nice and strong and make sure our drive and our force that we produce when we run is a lot greater. So we perform nice, slow and controlled. This can be quite a tough exercise and I'm really starting to feel it around this area. So If you want to make the exercise a little bit easier, once we've done our 20, you can tend to do 40 reps, but just do alternate as opposed to continuous. And that gives you just a little bit extra time per hip flexor just to get a bit more recovery in. Otherwise, if you find you can do one leg continuous for 20 reps, then go ahead. Nice, slow and controlled. Knee to chest, doesn't need to come much closer than 90 degrees. Right, once you've done your 20, we can bring the band up that little bit higher around the top of the knees. You can bring both feet up, put a bit of tension on the band, so your knees and legs are shoulder width apart, and we're just going to push up 20 times. This is working the glutes, a little bit of hamstring. It's just basically a double leg bridge with some tension on the band. If you really want to bias your hamstrings and you really want to work on those instead of the glutes, you can dig your heels into the ground and do 20 with the heels into the ground. Additionally, if you're finding this too easy, the legs can go further away and they really work the hamstrings that little bit more. But remember, whilst you're doing these 20 reps, hips are level. We don't want any skew hips. Nice and level through both hips. To make things a bit easier, you bring the heels in closer to the body. So do 20 of those reps, however which way you fancy. And next we're going to work on to specific glute exercises. So, lying in a nice straight line. So from the feet to our head is a nice straight line. Band stays around the top of the knees. And we can just slowly lift our leg up, slowly lift our leg down. And this is working on our hip abductors, which basically are muscles like your glute medius, which controls our knee when we run. So this is really important to work on this muscle so your leg and your knee is stable every time you land on that leg. With this exercise, it's quite tough as well because you're working against gravity and also you've got the tension of the band. That makes it quite difficult, and you start to feel the top of the bum, a nice burn in that muscle there. But if you're a runner doing this exercise, you should be able to do a good number of reps because the glute medius is really a really important muscle when we run. So if you're really struggling to do a couple of reps with a bit of tension, then it's something you really need to work on. Yeah, I'm starting to feel it now. Good. And once you've done your 20, we can move on to the other side. Just doing 20 on the other side. Remember, nice, controlled, not too fast. This is really probably one of the hardest exercises, and it's really having to work hard to work against resistance and lift up in the air as well. Great. So, exactly the same position, nice straight line. We're going to bring our knees up and then we're just going to open the top leg to do a clam. And this is going to more work the muscles in the middle of the bum as opposed to the top. It's going to really work those glutes. Going to get you nice and stable. If you are starting to find these exercises difficult, it's not a problem. You can just reduce the amount of reps and know that when you got to a certain point, that's when you found it difficult. keep practicing these exercises 2 to 3 times a week and start getting further and further into these exercises. Reps are increasing, strength's increasing, finding it easier, start increasing the resistance of the band. Nice, slow and controlled. Good. You've done your reps, you can move on to the other side. So we want exactly the same concept, nice straight line, bring the knees up, slowly open the top leg and lower back down. And you should feel the exercise working on the top leg, or top glute I should say. This is the last exercise now. So if it's starting to hurt, you're on the home straight. These exercises should be done about 2 to 3 times a week. And try to do them on days that you're not running. Otherwise, if you start doing them for the first time on the day you do run, it's going to start to ache and affect your running speed. But over the period of a few weeks, you'll start to notice the benefit. Your glutes will be a lot stronger, your leg will be a lot stable when you run, and your times will start to improve. So yeah, thanks for watching. So there was a lot of muscle groups and areas that we covered. We covered the ankles, the shins, the calves, quads, hamstrings and glutes. Just in that short period of time, we managed to cover all those areas. Drop us a comment, tell us how you got on. Additionally, if there's any videos you'd like to see, drop us a comment and we can look to produce them for you.